We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, under the stars.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of 2 Cents Plus, and I just need to wrap my mind around all the news that is kind of flooding in about this situation, because I really need to put some of this stuff into perspective, because it is interesting. So just to give you some context, if you don't know about this controversy and what's going on, there was a mystery player that was put on a esports team by the name of Second Wind. And people, gamers, based on a number of factors, were getting suspicious that this person wasn't actually a player, but had somebody sitting in and playing for them. Now, naturally, this raised a whole bunch of controversy. A bunch of articles came out, flying out, pushing the same narrative that's always pushed. It's that gamers hate women and they don't want them in the gaming industry. The gaming industry we're just not ready to accept people as, people, and players as players, And this narrative has been going on for quite some time. Overall, it's bull. It's not true. There are toxic factions or little portions of every community in existence, but overall, most are generally welcoming for the most part. But these idiotic journalists need to make money somehow, so because they don't give a crap about the industry or the people who actually participate in it, they don't care what they do to ruin it, or what they will say to ruin it. They don't care about any of that. Whatever the negative ramifications is, whatever. They're just a bunch of stupid gamers anyway, so who cares? Overwatch contenders player Ellie stepped down from her team Second Wind after a wave of doxing threats and harassment doubting their existence. And now multiple sources are reporting that it was indeed not them at the controls. Instead, it seemed to be a ladder player called Punisher. Now, let's do a quick recap here. A bunch of professional players, and some not so professional, I would imagine, have been watching this person by the name of Ellie play Overwatch. And due to the fact that they play this game very often, and they notice, player patterns and your stats and how much time you've played and all kinds of stuff like that they can look into to really see and gauge if there's some legitimacy to your playstyle or not. This is very, very similar to people who play Call of Duty. I've seen people have these crazy looking stats or whatever that don't really match up for the time that they've been playing and everything. There's a whole bunch of variables that come into play. So naturally, they looked into the situation and they analyzed it, and they're like, I don't think that this person is who they claim that they are. Now, a lot of people just presented that speculation. Some people were suggesting doxing. They're calling the simple act of questioning her in general harassment, but I think that's bullcrap. I think they are trying to elevate the situation to a higher level, because the only thing that I see that can serve as a form of harassment is them actively doxing her and trying to go in and figure out who she is. But in a lot of the other articles that I read that did not mention doxing at all, were claiming that the simple act of questioning whether or not her ability was legitimate is a form of harassment in itself, which is complete and utter trash. It's absolute bullcrap. Because the signs were there, clearly. So now, after all these articles came out condemning gamers, calling all of us trash, horrible, terrible people who hate women and just don't want them in our little group, this bullshit narrative that's been going around for a really long time, we find out that this person is not actually real. And it was a social experiment, right? Now, one would assume that the narrative would shift. What happened? How could this come to be? The gamers were correct. No, the narrative is still, well, although you had 100% evidence to prove that this person was fake, this person came forward and said that they were fake, you were still a toxic, horrible human being for even suggesting that they could be, because the rule is you should never, ever doubt vagina. Period. It doesn't matter. If that person has a vagina, you should believe that every ounce of their ability is to the fullest it could possibly be by default, because women have no faults. They can't be wrong, and they can't be, they can't be criticized. Now, the reason that I bring that up is very important because it actually adds to this story and adds to another topic that I would like to talk about. But let's read along, shall we? Second Wind issued an official statement about the controversy late Friday on Twitter. In it, team management explains that they failed to properly vet Ellie out of an urgent need to fill a slot or roster. Let's read that again. They failed to properly vet Ellie out of an urgent need to fill a roster. Now, this may be common. It could be common. They could be in a situation where they're just like, okay, we really just need another player. Let's get somebody in there. But let's keep reading on. And had not anticipated the scale of response, both positive and negative, to there being the first contenders team to hire a female player. Now, this last part right here is super important, because not only did they need to hurry up and get somebody on this team, they needed to hurry up and get somebody to fill this slot. They also had to make sure that they were the first ones to hire a female player. Now, what does that mean? That means that they saw vagina and said, okay, this vagina, and the reason that I'm saying it like that is because they didn't look at her as a person. They didn't look at her as a possible candidate who could play the game. They just said, you're a vagina holder, aren't you? Come on this team so we can virtue signal about having the first female on this team. Without an ounce of vetting to see if she was actually good, or without an ounce of investigation to see if she was actually the player that she said she was. This is not a problem to them. That is not an issue. And that fucks with me. That pisses me off. Because here we have a situation of a woman being put onto a team without any proof that she can actually play the game. Just for this simple and sole purpose to virtue signal. And cause this avalanche of controversy that it immediately fell on the gamers and made them all look like shit. Because these people decided to do a social experiment for their own ends. Nobody knows why the hell they decided to do it. And this company decided to virtue signal by bringing on a person who had literally no credentials as a gamer. And in the end result, it's the gamer's fault. They're the ones in the wrong. Not the people who faked this outrage, not the people who recruited this person without vetting them at all. The gamers are the ones who are wrong for spotting the fact that it happened. So as of today, Blizzard had gotten back to us in the background of Ellie and notified us that they were not who they claimed to be, and discovered that the Ellie account was used for the purpose we do not support. The statement reads, "We apologize to the community as a whole for not handling the situation better than we should have, and we will aim to do better." They say that, but every article that's still coming out, all the people who are still talking about this situation are still saying, fuck all the gamers. You all are disgusting, horrible human beings. Blizzard fucked up. Second Wind fucked up. Imaginary Ellie fucked up. But no, at the end of the day, it's still your fault. Esports consultant Rob, I do not know how to pronounce your last name, I'm sorry, reports that Ellie sent messages to teammates confirming that they haven't been the one playing, like people suggested, or like people harassed. They harassed her because they assumed that this thing that was absolutely true was true. Ellie claims to be a 17-year-old girl but one who is not good at Overwatch. Neither players or management of Second Wind knew, and Blizzard is holding a meeting with them. How do you not know that? How could you not know that? Want to know why? Because you cannot question vagina. I have no problem with women playing video games. I've been playing video games with women my entire gaming career. The entire time I've been playing games, never had a problem with chicks playing video games. It's never been an issue. Never came up as a topic of discussion. Never has been a point of contention. It just hasn't been. Because you can tell, playing with a female gamer, that they enjoy the game. It just has never been an issue. But all of a sudden, this is an epidemic that plagues our society. So let's look at something important, because I wanted to talk about this too. Now, this is Justin Hughes, Second Wind's owner, further explains the unforeseen reactions in the thread, which is talking about Ellie leaving. When we brought her onto the team, pay attention. When we brought her onto the team, people acted like we had brought a symbol of empowerment. A symbol of empowerment. Not a human being who enjoys video games. Not somebody who just wants to join a team and play a game and enjoy it or whatever, or compete with the best of the best. A symbol of empowerment. This girl was a tool that they can wave in front of other people and talk about how progressive they are. Hughes wrote, I get people meant well, but on one side we had people questioning her legitimacy, issuing threats, etc., while on the other hand we had people acting like they had found their messiah. Now where the fuck have we seen that before? Does that sound familiar to anyone? No? That don't sound familiar at all? Now, I don't support harassment. I don't support the doxing and the attacking of people for whatever reason. I don't support any of that shit. But I also do not support people elevating people for the opposite reason. So if it's not okay for people to assume she's not good just because she's a woman, why is it okay to pedestalize her for that fact? Neither one is something that I support. Both are wrong. Hughes told .esports that the organization is withholding from making further public comments out of respect for the wishes of those involved. Allie has not responded to .esports request for comment. Hughes said, it seems like the Overwatch community isn't ready to view a player as just a player. That's probably because this person isn't actually a player. But you know, fuck that. Those are inconvenient truths. We don't need that shit. All we need to know is that gamers are disgusting and they hate women. It's obvious. They had the gall to suggest that this fake player was a fake player. Why on earth would they ever do something so horrible? Only terrible, disgusting people would do something like that. I mean, this is a developing story. There's much more to read. If you want to see the links to both of the stories that I put down in the description, you can check out all this stuff. They have a lot of information, and there's still information coming in for both of the articles that I found, and probably much others. I don't have the full context or the full view on what's going on here, but from where I stand and the information that I have right now, the only conclusion that I can come with is that there is a concentrated and active effort right now to shit on gamers at any point you can, for any reason. Any reason you can find. And even when the situation proves that this isn't what it is, this isn't an act of sexism, this isn't gamers hating women, this is people actually being suspicious of fake people infiltrating something that they take very seriously, you're still the problem. You're still wrong no matter what, because narrative trumps everything. Narrative trumps everything. It is more important than the truth. It is more important than the reality of the situation. It is more important than gaming and the community and the culture itself. The narrative rules everything. Nothing else matters. And that annoys me. I know I don't usually make videos like this on this channel, but I needed to talk about it because there's a lot of things that need to be addressed here. Don't dox and harass people. Don't create fake accounts or fake social movements to pretend or stage some perceived bullshit that you claim to be happening, because it's stupid and it's a waste of people's time, and no matter what, everybody loses. Just stop it. Cut it out. For the love of God. Please. Okay. I got that off of my chest. I might revisit this if some more information comes out. But be sure to hit that like button if you liked it. And share it and all that stuff. And I'll see you guys on the next video.